Putting, the great leveler. Over the years, I've never considered myself to be that good with the flat stick. Countless three putts and many painful memories. But in this video, I'm having a lesson with the world's greatest putting coach, Phil Kenyon. You will learn things about putting you have never seen before and see the improvement that I make within my game. Golf nerds, strap yourselves in.
Phil, thank you so much for having me, mate.
Pleasure.
I'm really looking forward to this.
Glad you could make it.
And what we're going to do today, guys, really simple. We're just going to go through a full lesson. That if I was a pro coming to you for a lesson, I am a pro coming to you for a lesson.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lesson.
Yeah.
And as mentioned in the intro, Phil is quite literally the greatest putting coach in the world. And if you do want more information, get down into the description below, visit the website, and also check out the academy as well, where you can get the lessons that I'm getting online. So you don't have to travel to Formby. Although, please do, because it's lovely. This is the first putting lesson that I've had in quite literally years.
A few years.
Yeah. So I've obviously got fitted for my Scottie, kind of in the States at the start of the year. And
with Paul.
Yeah, with Paul. Yeah. And since that point, I've just been really trying to figure it out myself. And I know there's some big weaknesses in here.
Right. That's a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
I always ask this question, and it might seem obvious, but where do you feel that you can improve your putting? If there was a particular part that you feel lets you down, what would it be?
So same as everyone, green reading, ongoing process, just trying to figure it out. Confidence in that read.
Yeah.
Now, both of those things are related to probably the biggest factor in my issue, which is speed.
I've seen some evidence that would substantiate that.
It's just so inconsistent. Like the comp I just played at Dornoch, there was, over the 2 days, I three-putted 2 par 5s for pars. I've been getting on the green too. She's so frustrating.
And was it the lag approach put that?
Yeah, it was the lag approach putting. It's just, over a long distance, like the comps I'm playing in, I'm hoping that the greens are really small, so I don't have to face like a long putt. But then the shorter putts as well, when that a little bit of pressure's on, how I'm lining up, how I'm getting set up, it's just inconsistent. Like yesterday I putted great. I think I gained 3 strokes yesterday.
Oh yeah,
and then the day before I kind of lost 3.
Is that kind of fluctuation from day to day consistent?
Yeah.
That can happen a lot.
It can be. Like a few days, what was it, last week before, I gained almost 5.5 strokes.
In one round?
In one round, which is unbelievable. If you do want more information on strokes gained, by the way, I think we'll include a link in the description below, because a few people do ask, but it's the performance on how many strokes you would gain compared to with ShotScope, the Tour Pro baseline. When you see the strokes gained on tour, that's often against the field, like event by event.
Yeah.
So it's a Tour Pro baseline, and then the next day, again, I lost like 2 or 3.
It's a good metric though.
Great metric,
for any golfer to use, because I'll get asked I'll get people tell me all the time, I had 25 putts today, and I had 36 yesterday. And counting putts really doesn't mean anything. No. So you could put exactly the same in terms of levels of performance and have, that kind of bigger difference in putts counted. So the only real accurate level or assessment of performance is strokes gained.
Yeah. Right. What do you want me to do, buddy?
Right.
Where should we start?
I've got this calibrated. We've got a white point there.
Yeah.
We're going to start hitting some putts at the middle hole.
Okay.
So I've got everything set up. Just going to go through your routine. So you're using a line on the ball at the moment, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But for example, if you were on a fairly straight 14-foot putt, would you line it up?
Yes. Yeah, I would do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to measure you on Sam Putt Lab, which measures a bunch of different parameters about the club. We're going to get some video to see how you're moving the putter.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of go from there.
Maybe just like being in your presence is making me the best putter in the world.
You use aim point, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. So read this putt for me as you would do if we were outside.
So I kind of feel that's a 2.
What we're going to do, I'm going to put this backboard here.
Okay.
Just go in and do your arm bend again and pick out a reference on that backboard for your read.
So I've got that at the 6.
The first set of putts we hit was a straight putt. So measuring your aim, how the stroke reacts to a straight put, and then we're going to, obviously now we've got a right to left put. You're very specific with your intention. You know, you use an aim point, you're picking a point that's hole high. So we're going to calibrate to that point, and then we've got a reference for your aim and stroke relative to your intention on the right to lefter.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Love it.
Right, so I'm going to move this backboard now. So
Okay.
you haven't got that reference.
Okay.
But I want you to go through your normal read. So you, in
go
terms
through it
of
again.
your arm bend,
Perfect.
how you line up the ball, and then how you execute it.
Just blasted it. I mean, the ball has finished directly behind the hole.
Yeah.
So I've got a case of saying, am I hitting it too hard, or actually holding pace? It's not horrendous, but
So is the speed good?
for me,
Yeah.
at the moment for me, that speed would be pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the ball was going to go in at good speed, the ball would probably finish back there, wouldn't
Yeah.
it? If it was shorter speed, it would finish on a similar line but shorter.
Yeah.
So they're definitely kind of highish misses.
Yeah.
It's why it's missed high. Is it a read? Is it stroke? Or is it aim?
Okay.
And what would your instinct say there?
So I would say for me, that's going to be aim. Stroke felt okay.
Stroke felt okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you feel that you're aiming higher
I mean, to begin with, no, but now obviously missed the second one, I do feel, yeah.
rather than your read?
Yeah.
So no, it could be 1.5% slow.
Yes, indeed.
Right, let's get onto a left to right put.
Okay. Feels slightly less.
You know you've got someone very important in the room when they bring their own balls and it's got their own logo in. Look at that.
I mean, get down to the comments and let me know what you think. I was personally against this. Okay.
Oh, so you're giving this less
I'm giving this less now.
on the basis of what you felt under your feet?
Yeah.
So this felt more like a...
More like a 1.5.
Okay.
But yeah, again, I don't know if I'm getting in my own head about it, but that's what it felt like, so that's what I'm going for.
Right, okay, so where would that give you, 1.5?
So 1.5, that's going to put me at basically 4.5 there.
He's made one. Right, well, let's have a little look at the data. I'm just going to set up a couple of things here. Okay. We hit 7 putts on the straight put. On average, your alignment was 1.4 degrees open. So if you look at the 1.5 degrees there,
Yeah.
you're going to be closer to that point.
Right, so
You're aiming it outside of the hole on
aiming
the straight
outside.
put.
Okay.
But you were consistent, 98%.
Yeah.
So you did it consistently. Now, looking behind you, it looked like you lined up the ball well, but the putter was right of the line of the ball.
Yeah.
Face change, 0.3 degrees closing. So we had a small degree of closing. So the face impact is 1.1 degrees and the consistency, really good.
Okay.
So you've aimed it really consistent. The face change is minimal.
Yeah.
0.3 degrees would be very minimal. I like face change to be within half a degree. And generally to match someone's aim bias. So if you aim a little right, you want a little bit of closing, vice versa. But
Yeah.
like to keep all that within half a degree.
Okay. It's kind of like one of those weird things where actually there's a lot of pros aim right, don't they, with their putts and like close
I
the
would
actual
say,
face.
yeah, I think a lot of good putters would be in that category, slightly, minute right aim.
Yeah, yeah.
And then release the putter. So you get some players who could have a big right or left aim bias, but they're really good at squaring the club up on their target line. Now you're not quite squaring your club up on your target line.
Yeah.
So club's coming in a little open. Path is 1.4 degrees to the right. Directional error is not a massive amount, it's very consistent. You notice that the sort of swing length ratio, if you look at the backswing, generally it's a lot longer than the forward swing.
Yeah.
And some inconsistency in the swing length a little, but consistent. Strike was pretty good. You mentioned hitting one out the heel. Generally didn't really look like much out the heel.
Okay, yeah.
Launch conditions, hitting slightly up on it, 2.6 degrees. You've got 0.7 degrees de-loft. You've got just over 2 degrees of loft on that putter. So your launch is going to be fairly similar to in and around 1.5 to 2 degrees. We've not measured that on Quintic, but obviously you've been fitted for the putter previously, so we're going to look at more in and around how you're moving the putter. But if you look at your shape, tend to have like a stronger arc on the backswing and a shallower arc through the forward swing.
Yeah.
So the shape of the stroke, the trajectory of the sweet spot is kind of changing, as it is with a lot of golfers.
Okay.
The plane, we're not always swinging the club on a consistent plane.
Yeah. No, that would make sense. That actually makes sense to how it feels sometimes as well. It does feel like I take it kind of inside quite quick. Not exactly a draw feeling, but it kind of feels like I'm
More on that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is a very simplistic kind of overview, but Sam Putlab breaks it down into different categories. Tendency, which is your technique.
Yeah.
Timing, which is rhythm timing. We've got consistency, so how consistent are you? And that is a really important parameter, because with great putters you can pick little holes in their technique and they might not always score really highly on here, but generally they'll score really high in consistency. So they have a predictability in how they move the putter and launch the ball. And then very often their green reading can be ways that they'll adapt to a certain bias of starting the ball left or starting the ball right, stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
But if you look, timing, that is a low score. You're on the slower side of things going back, but you've matched it quite well in terms of swing length here. It's a little slow but also long.
Yeah.
So if you have a slow stroke, then you need to have a long stroke. If you have a quick stroke, you get away or need to match it with a short stroke in a very simplistic way.
Yeah.
Speed consistency on the straight putt, not bad. There was a couple of minute decelerations here. I was expecting this to look a little different based on what I'd seen on the video of you out on a golf course. This is your right to left putt, and I've immediately gone to the speed and timing profile. Now we see a little bit more acceleration, or a change in the acceleration profile. So this is acceleration in the takeaway. Okay. So we accelerate away from the ball. So you apply force, we move the putter away from the ball. Then that rate of acceleration starts to slow down. Mm-hmm. So we can see acceleration going down, and then it starts to slow down. Then we get to a point where we start to decelerate because the club comes to the top of the backswing. So you're starting to apply a force then that starts to slow the club down. So now we're above the zero here. So this is deceleration or acceleration to the target. Acceleration will have a positive or negative. It has a direction. Then this is top of your backswing. And then what we notice about the top of the backswing is we keep accelerating. And your peak acceleration is 3/4 of the way into your downswing.
Okay.
So this enters kind of a little bit low and then keeps accelerating, and then you break. So on here, on this putt here where we've got this black line, this is above zero. Now on the straight putts, if anything, you decelerated on a few, but then when we got on a breaking putt, we saw a change in the profile. And this is what I saw a little bit by watching you on the course was you could see like little changes in your acceleration profile. And I don't know what happens maybe under pressure, but you definitely didn't look like you swung it as long as you did in the studio. You mentioned your speed control probably being the area that you can improve the most. And luckily for me, observing you at times on the course, I think it's the consistency of that.
Yeah.
I think you have slightly slow stroke, which then can make it difficult to control your swing length, and then you're always trying to find the speed in the downswing.
Yeah.
So giving you a system in and around helping you control your speed better, and then also practicing it, be equipped technically to do it, but you've also got to have some feel and be able to take that technique and generate touch and feel with it.
Absolutely.
And I think it starts by being a little brisker, going back, having a little bit more flow, accelerating, decelerating quicker. Let's go back. So we go to the right to left putt, and we calibrated at 6. Now, using putt view, I've displayed what that break should be on a 2% slope. Right, so you read it at 2%.
Yep.
So your feel in your feet was good.
Good.
Your arm bend gave you 6, and it should have been closer to 7.
Okay.
So you're not far out with your read actually at all.
Okay.
But then if you look at your aim, you've aimed that 4 degrees right of your intended target.
So based on what we spoke about before, actually aim-wise, I'd been more at what?
10.
10, yeah. That's a slight issue.
So, and then there's some closing.
Yeah.
So the further you aim right, the more you've closed. So now we've got a degree of closing, but it's never enough. Those balls always missed high,
Yeah.
didn't they?
I told myself where to aim. I apparently just ignored it.
The left to righter was also 2%.
Okay.
So you join me now a few weeks after the lesson, and I'm going to intersect these little explanations into what we did at the studio with Phil, just to show you what I've been working on and just to expound on some of the things that we spoke about. So a lot of this lesson, we spoke about perception and eye positioning and where I think I'm aiming to where I'm actually aiming. And as you've just seen, I was pretty consistently aiming off to the right-hand side of the hole. Now, a little bit of that was to do with my eyes being on the inside of the line. So if you can draw a line from the ball here to the hole, and you've got a line here and a line here, my eyes were about here in my setup, so they were inside the line, and that was helping to give me a bit of a perception that I was aiming the club to the right hand side because my eyes were on the inside of the line. I've played in a comp today and I don't know if I'm making any sense, so Kieran, you're gonna have to, does that make sense to you?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I'll show you what I've been doing to work on this. So I've got a putting mirror here, and all I'm looking for is to try and get my eyes over the line of the ball. Now, you could do this in a few different ways, but a putting mirror is by far the easiest. So what I'm looking for here in my setup is for my eyes to be directly over the ball, and I can obviously see that in my reflection. Now, to get into the position easier, I'm getting closer to the ball, feel like I'm standing relatively tall as well. And the actual setup position now feels really, really good. It felt strange to begin with, but honestly now it's, if not second nature, then it's definitely feeling more natural. And it's allowed me to perceive the line of the putt so much better.
Now, did you genuinely feel less slope in your feet?
A little, yeah. But to be fair, even when I was doing that, in my mind, I'm like, am I doing this to myself now? So.
Because of a reaction of the higher miss?
Yeah, a little bit. So I knew it was around 1.5, 2.
Yeah.
But I probably just said, okay, 1.5, yeah.
And I'll see golfers do that a lot.
Yeah.
It's human nature, isn't it? But what I'll also see, and this is something to explore, is sometimes people are better at feeling one direction of slope.
Right, okay.
So you may have a feel like right to left where you feel a certain amount of 2 and you know that that's, say, 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But then when you go the other way, you don't quite feel it the same.
Right, okay.
That is the actual break. Now, can you remember what your aim was? What your intention was?
It was going to be 1.5, wasn't it? So I think that was like, I say it was like 4.5, I think it was.
Either way, it wasn't 6.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't 6.
It was low,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Right. So now if we look at your alignment of the ball, or alignment of the putter face, it was open. So on average, open 0.9, closing 1 degree.
Right, okay.
You started it on your line, aiming slightly right of it and then pulling it back onto that line. But that line was slightly lower the break. So you would have probably needed probably make that on a firmer speed.
Yeah.
So one of the things with put view is put a corridor down. And this gives us a corridor of speed options. So the 7 was based on a 1 foot pass speed. That would be dead weight speed. And then your furthest speed is closer to your 5. Now, the interesting thing was, I thought that you lined up the ball relatively well.
Yeah, and then why aren't I aiming along that line?
So, I mean, there's two things that I would immediately, if you look at the numbers, and because the numbers take out all emotion and subjectivity, don't they?
Yeah.
If we looked at the error created, so if you look at like all of these scores here across, where was the most error? So the consistency of everything was pretty good, okay? But if we look here, that's yellow, okay? If we looked at the path score, that's green.
Yeah.
Green, high consistency, green, rotation, green for face to path. Dynamics on the straight put, fairly green. Face aim. That's where the most error is. Right. And then we go to the right to left at 4 degrees. 2 things that stood out to me were just how you aim it.
Why would I be good at aiming the ball and then I put the putter behind and I can't aim it along that line?
Well, let's find out.
Why would I do that? That seems like the easiest bit.
You've got the line of the ball, it's on there. Now there's a thing called vernier acuity. If you went for an in-depth screening, like optical sports screening, one of the tests that you would do would be a vernier acuity test. And it's effectively looking at two lines, okay, and then detecting when they don't match.
Right, okay.
So you have like several pictures that would come across and you go, right, that doesn't match. Now, not everyone could look at two lines and think that they look straight.
Okay.
Not everyone could look at a perpendicular reference and think that looks square. You might be able to line up the ball well, but then whether you can match the putter to that line is a different question.
So I'd be a terrible builder.
Well, you might not. Well, yes. If you've got someone to come in and check your work, you could get away with it. But if you hang pictures at home, you know, your missus could come in and say, well, that doesn't look straight. And you'd be like, well, it's dead straight to me.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different perspective, haven't they? So
yeah, I leave everything to Carly. She's DIY in the house. She doesn't trust me. And now I know why.
Right, line up your ball for me if you can.
On straight.
Yeah. Right, now, do you check your line of the ball?
Yes. It kind of depends. If I've got a reference point, so obviously on this surface it's kind of difficult, but if I've lined up and let's say I'm aiming, I don't know, at 4, and there's something which is just in front of my ball, I'll kind of line it up to that and then I'm good. I don't. Yeah. I kind of feel like, okay, I'm good, I can go.
Okay. So first thing is we've just got to make sure you line up the ball where you intend. You know, some of that error could come from
trying to get out.
Yeah, do you want to
trying to get around?
Yeah, use that club because you've got the sensor, same shaft. So first thing is let's eliminate any of the error coming from the ball. Obviously, if you look at this line, you've got 3 separate lines and you've got the logo. Does that give you enough definition to get a real kind of sense of where that line is? I don't know.
Right. Okay.
But explore around. If you're someone that uses a line, explore different shapes, lengths, sizes, colours, and which one kind of is easiest to line up. Now, when you put the putter down, what are you actually looking at?
I'm focusing on the line on top of the
line on top.
Yeah, line on top.
Okay, right. So, okay, and again. But you've lined up the ball well there.
Yeah.
And you've definitely lined up the putter face to the ball better.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing that stood out to me. But yet, there's no real clear intent there.
No. Okay.
What do you think's happened there then?
So I've lined the ball up better to the hole.
Yeah.
And I've probably had a lot more, talk about intention, I've probably just more focused on making sure it's there.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does something with a slightly longer sight line give you a little bit more vivid when you put the club in to kind of give you that sense of, right, I'm going to match those lines.
Yeah, potentially.
Next square.
So this year I was really keen to line my ball up on pretty much every single putt. So what I asked Titleist to do is give me the balls with this Pro V1 alignment on. Now, all throughout the year, I have been setting this up and I have been aiming it, but as I found in the lesson, as you've just seen, but even with this alignment aid, I was still aiming it to the right of the target. Now, what me and Phil found is if I extended the line, so I made it a little bit thinner, this actually made it easier for me to line up for whatever reason. But not only that, I had to integrate something different into my pre-shot routine. So this is a pretty good example on this putt. It's relatively straight, but I think it's just going to move a tiny bit off to the right-hand side as it finishes. So with this putt, I have it breaking just a little bit left to right, so just outside the left edge. So what I've done is I've lined my ball up to where I want my putt to start. But because of how I was lining everything up to the right of target, what I do now is I just add a little thing into my routine. So I just crouch down, marker's normally behind the ball at this point, and I just hold my shaft up and I make sure that that line is directly down my intended start line. Really simple, and then I can just see if I think it's going to take that break. Because from there I can be confident that when I move into my setup, I square my face against that line. So this should set off just outside the left of the hole. Hopefully it breaks. Jeez. I think I might just be one of the world's best putters now. Although unfortunately the comms in between the lesson and now have shown that I'm still rather inconsistent, but I'm getting there.
So this putter's just got the long alignments along the...
Yeah, so we've got a not too dissimilar kind of footprint. You've got some mass behind the face, but we've got a longer sight line, and that sight line's all on top.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got like a cavity here, so if you were having a sight line at the bottom here, the sight line would be on 2 different levels. So the sight line is longer and all on 1 level. Okay, and again. So if you looked at the previous one, it was 0.4 open, which is still like decent. I could see that the line was slightly right of the line of the ball, ever so slightly. Go to the next one, where you've looked along the whole back edge.
Right.
Then that one was 0.
Okay.
So obviously that club in itself is a different, got a completely different alignment feature. You're looking at the top here. If you're going to use a club like that, then using the whole of that line could help you. Because when you first put it down, I don't know if you were just still kind of focused on this front edge, but when you were more focused along the whole line, you matched the lines better.
Right, okay.
So your shape is definitely influenced by your aim.
Yeah.
Like, can't really see much difference in your setup between the 2 different putters. Your eyes would be a tiny bit inside, it might be on both. You know, you've got a little bit more neck bend potentially, I'd say, but not a huge difference.
No.
Tiny bit of neck bend. If you're going to use a line on the ball, how can we best align the putter to that ball? You know, that tests better than that. If I was going off the numbers, I'd be like, well, have something that's got a stronger sight line on the top. That's to an extreme, it's a long one. We can obviously get different head shapes and different alignment patterns. That's got a smaller line.
Right,
But if you think about that, there's a high contrast. You know, it's slightly longer than the one you've got. You've got no other like perpendicular references. This has got a very like clear bit in the middle with a nice clear like linear reference, a little longer.
Yeah.
So for you, you might be potentially look from a putter fitting perspective. You might look at something with a more, what's the word for it? Just a longer sight line that stands up. And I prefer sight lines that are on the top of the club.
Okay.
That go right to the front of the ball if you are using putter and ball, or for someone that might struggle with it.
Yeah, makes sense.
However, that's still good.
Yeah, I think that's the... Okay.
So like all I would say with this is you did well once you paid attention to it.
Yeah, so kind of did better when I paid attention to it. Something like this with a longer alignment would just make it easier to see.
I think it easier.
Yeah.
You know, you've got some important comps coming up and you like this putter and you probably don't want to swap it at this moment in time. But but if you've got processes to help manage it, so processes in around helping managing your aim, I think you could still do a good job with this.
Okay.
So what me and Phil were talking about in this part of the lesson is different head designs, and you can see on my putter I've just got this single line on the top edge of the blade here. And what we were trying to figure out is, will I be able to line a putt up better if this line is extended? Now, I think for me, what I really want to do is have a proper, full day, intense putter fitting to really figure out what is going to be best for me. If I need to be a little bit more upright with the setup, a little bit flatter, the lengths and all this kind of thing, which we did touch upon at the start of the year, but I want to get a little bit more in depth. I really want to try and find a putter which I'm going to be using for years, not just this season.
Grab your putter, be careful not to touch that device. So but take your setup as if you're going to strike the ball down this white line. So imagine striking that ball down that white line.
Yeah.
Now when I move out of the way, if you were to kind of look down that white line where the ball would go, where do you feel that white line points?
Like, just left.
Just left?
Yeah.
Outside of the hole?
Yeah, only just though, kind of like left edge. Just
left edge,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, staying set up, let me move the club. Right, now, if you look at these perpendicular references, do they look square to the target line, or does it look square to that white line and then slightly closed?
Weirdly enough, it does look like the extension coming off it is going a little bit further left than the actual lines.
So if anything, it could look like this.
Yeah, just a touch,
Yeah, okay. So you have a slightly better perspective of that line here being square.
Right, okay.
And this is where golf really can pickle your head. No line with the Phantom. So a long sight line, lined it really well when we had the line of the ball.
Okay.
And then you take the line of the ball away and you aim it miles right. Go to your own putter without the line of the ball, you aim it amazing. Now, if you look at the configuration of those two putters, in that test, you saw square better than you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So this one matches that more.
Yeah.
This one matches this more. That looks slightly left to you.
Yeah.
So it would be very easy for you to then want to adjust this to the right in order for it to look good.
Gotcha.
So without the line of the ball, you aimed this better. So there's two different things here. You've obviously got the vernier acuity aspect of matching two lines. Longer sight line can help you match that line. But if that line of the ball also, like I say, is left, your instinct kind of might want to push you to the right. Without the line of the ball, you wouldn't want to use this putter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Now, if you're switching in between using the line and not using the line, then you want a putter that's going to accommodate both.
Now, me and Phil spent in the lesson, I would say, about 40 minutes on neck bend, which is a thing, because when I'm over the ball, if I lift my chin, my eyes here in the mirror are above the line. Now, if I just tilt my head down, so I have a bit of neck bend, all of a sudden this brings my eyes directly over the ball. And we worked a lot on just getting the right amount of like this. And what it boiled down to eventually, it just feels like I'm just like relaxing my head forward, relaxing my head down, and then that gets me in that position, directly over it. Oh, I could put like this all day. All day.
Right, so this is my thinking around your alignment.
Okay.
Right, a single sight line or a stronger sight line.
Yeah.
Check that. When you step in, I think you can be slightly closer and more chin down.
Yeah.
That's going to help the line look less left. I think that is also going to help you in your ability to match club and ball, regardless of what putter you use. I think then once you're chin down, eyes over, you don't have to overly focus so much on matching. Just it's a little bit of attention. Club face, top line match. Once it feels good, you switch off, and then your attention's going to get into the rest of the putt. And I think you could use that putter.
Yes, I think so.
One thing I would like to do is to look at your rhythm and timing acceleration profiles.
Yes.
So there's two kind of there's a precursor, the bing bong, and then we've got that light that comes on, we've got this rising tone. We've also got swing length reference here. But if you look at that light, okay, we can see length of the backswing, we can see the acceleration of that light to the top of the backswing, and we see it coming down. So that is set up at a overall timing of this stroke, which I think reflects your downswing time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Just make a few strokes. I'm going to leave it for you to explore. So, better.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the ball. Don't worry about start line. And to be honest, don't worry too much about your setup. Just really get into the flow and the rhythm of that stroke. The backswing is going to feel like there's got a little bit more flow to it, more freedom. Right, so give me a couple of practice swings to the side of it. Okay, where you're going to work that tone. Now, what feeling would you get from that backswing like as a...
I mean, it definitely feels quicker.
Yeah. What would be the general feel? Like your practice swings were really good. You're not quite as good when you put the ball there.
Yeah, kind of felt that.
Okay. So, but if you were to describe what the practice strokes feel like, what would you glean from that?
It's quicker going back and then coming through, just more like a, best way to describe it, more like a gentle, like just release.
Yeah.
Just like allowing the club to kind of flow through rather than like actively accelerating, I suppose. Best way to describe it. So it's there
like the ball's getting in the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Certainly in the practice strokes, it felt like that. As soon as the ball's there,
there's a little hit at the
just
ball,
a touch.
isn't there?
Yeah.
Right. So, without the tempo stick there, try and recreate that same feel.
Okay.
Right. So let's have a couple of really good practice strokes to start with. It's going to feel a little brisker. There's going to be a little bit more flow.
Yeah.
But you're going to keep the club moving. the club's continually moving.
Okay.
Because we're not just it shouldn't feel like it's coming to a stationary top. How'd that feel?
It felt better. It did feel better.
So do you know what I talked about? You kind of this coming in a bit shallow.
Yeah.
And then having to kind of peak here and then break late. Can you see how much higher this comes in?
Yeah. Okay.
So your peak acceleration is the top of the backswing.
Okay.
Which personally from experience, that's where I see most. The putters that have really good touch, distance control, speed control, they're more on this side of it. This is where we would, two things here. We want a reference for timing, something that you could put to like a equivalent of it, like a metronome. I'm going to use a little device with you. So what we got here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you listen to the first beat and react to it. 1, 2, 3. Second beat is top of the backswing. Third beat, impact.
Okay.
So give me a couple of practice swings there.
So does this change on length of putt, or it's kind of like this pretty much?
Not as a concept. The reality is there'll be subtle differences. So give me a couple of practice swings first. Yeah. Just try and get used to matching that. 1, 2, 3.
Sure.
So yeah, wait for the first one and think about the third being impact. Okay.
Okay.
Right, 2 practice swings, step in, hit the putt. You didn't respond too well to the visual of that.
It's probably because I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've picked up the auditory even better,
Yeah.
like quicker. So if you look at that one, Pete, so you've gone back brisker, 600, 300, 303 down, so you're slightly brisker, you're on the quicker end there. Ratio 1.98. If you looked at the acceleration profile, can you see how higher that comes in?
Yeah.
And drops off. So you've responded nicely to that, albeit maybe a little bit quicker. Don't mind that, don't mind you falling on that side. And if you can have something that you feel comfortable with that gives you a sense of timing, this is my timing.
Yeah.
And it feels comfortable and you can do it, then all we then need to do is to help you build up different size of strokes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a swing length chart. So we've got stimp on the left-hand side,
Right.
and then we've got distance on the right-hand side. So this is going to be suitable for your timing. But like, let's say on any given day you're going to go practice, we're going to do 9, 18, 27 feet on those 3 drills. And it's an 11 stimp green, and that would be your backswing reference, 22 centimetres for 9 foot, 31 centimetres, 18, and then 37. So little tape measure in the bag. That's a little T-peg, which would be where the face would be, and you can sort of scorch on the grass a little line for consistently starting from the same place, and then literally just stick a T-peg. And when you're doing that drill, I would be more aware of your swing length in your practice stroke. So make 2 practice strokes, feeling the bim, bim, bim. You get a sense of stroke length.
Yeah.
And then when you're over, just hit the putt and think more about the rhythm.
Yeah.
Your practice stroke will give you a feel for length. And then afterwards, just reflect, did that feel like an appropriate size of stroke?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're ever practicing with someone, they can look and say, yeah, that looks like it matches. But it'll just give you a rough guide to, and it's more as you're getting on your bigger putts, that's where I think you're going to have to be more aware of increasing size of stroke.
Okay. No, that makes
from
sense.
what I've seen so far. Alignment of the ball.
Yes.
Solid line.
Yeah.
Just taking a moment to check that alignment.
Yeah.
In practice, you could use a string to check that ball alignment. A little bit closer, chin down, split second, just to square the club to the ball. Yeah. But then not getting line locked, trusting that's done then.
Yeah, it's locked in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mirror in practice to help you with your setup. You mentioned doing it on a chalk line. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Once you've kind of warmed up the stroke, got comfortable, then what I would do is some speed work. Like I mentioned, you could do 10, 20, 30, 40 feet. You could vary those distances each day. So one day it could be 9, and then 18, 27, 36, whatever. And you can, with the swing length chart, you'll have an idea of what a distance in between those numbers could be.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be precise, but you could guesstimate what a swing length could be if that number's not exactly on that chart. So you've got those four different distances. You could vary those distances each day. You do swing length reference, 3 balls from each distance with the audio file. You could work up, you could work down, and then you could do that without the audio file, work up, work down.
Okay.
Then you could do some random puts.
Yeah.
With the audio on some, with the audio off on others.
Okay.
But your focus is on that rhythm and timing.
The rhythm. Okay. And that's kind of like my step from practice to the course, basically.
No, that's still, in a way, your timing, technical practice. Your bridging work is different now.
Right.
Like, you need to allocate a little bit of your practice time where you literally have one ball and then you go through your routine and you hit different puts.
Okay.
With a focus on, okay, I'm going to carry over some of that rhythm and timing stuff.
Cool.
You could see that one brain cell slightly overworked today.
I think it just fired a little bit then.
Yeah.
Wow, we came to life. Mate, that was amazing. Honestly,
Yeah, pleasure.
so good.
So in the intervening time between the lesson and now, I've done open qualifying and I've played in a lot of comps. Pace putting still is the major issue. I've practiced and I have worked on this aspect of my putting. However, it is still one of the big weaknesses of my game. During the lesson, and one of the reasons why it still feels so strange, is the feeling that I'm having is effectively this: that I'm getting set up, I'm taking the putter back fast. It's almost a little bit of a decel as I smoothly move the putter into impact. It almost feels fast to slow, which isn't happening in reality. And yet, oh man, honestly, it's a bit of a head scratcher. So, proof is in the pudding. Here are my putting stats. So this is pre-lesson and post-lesson. And you can see the improvement. You know, putting is one of the most important factors within golf. If you're a good putter, it can make up for bad rounds, and if you're a good putter and you play well, then you can have a fantastic round as well. I'm still having some issues with 3-putts. I'm still having an issue with pace control, but overall the underlying putting technique and my underlying putting game has vastly improved. So all those factors that we worked on with Phil, I have been practicing them, and it seems to be having a benefit, which is great. But for example, my last 2 days at Cuddington Golf Club, where the Surrey Open has been, I lost almost 4.5 strokes on putting yesterday, and I lost 2 strokes today. I shot 4 over yesterday, and I shot 4 under today. And I lost my 2 strokes today putting with a really iffy 3-putt, but also I missed a couple of short putts. So there's still so much improvement to make. And then within context of this, my open qualifying rounds, my final qualifying, they were pretty good. And at Caldy, I gained almost 3 strokes putting. So it's there, it's within me. I just need to make it more consistent. Okay guys, massive thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you check out Phil's website, which is in the description below, and we'll also kind of link it here. I'm going to be doing a lot more work with Phil. I'm going to be delving into the deepest, darkest mysteries that putting has to offer. So stay with me on this ride. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give us a follow on all the social media, and we'll see you down here next time.